Hope you guys are doing well. It is July 3rd here in the United States. We are getting ready for Independence Day. I was getting ready to record the weekly portfolio review, and I'd gotten to the SCHD section where I have Rationale, which is just the one holding. And I was like, maybe I should talk about HSAs in general for a moment because if you're anything like me a couple years ago, it's probably an investment tool that you're not maximizing. What I find is that most people, when you think about like an HSA, what they're kind of thinking about is like doctor visits, prescriptions, essentially a place to park money until they have to go to the doctor. But with a little strategic investment, the HSA does become a wealth building tool that offers some tax advantages that even exceed the Roth IRA. I actually kind of think of it these days as not a health savings account so much as just a regular investing account that has some healthcare rules associated with it. So before we go too far, let's go ahead and get into our disclaimer. This is educational. I am not a professional tax advisor or consultant. Nothing I say should be taken as advice. You should make your own research and decisions regarding your investments. So, as we think about the HSA, one of the things that I really like about it is that it is what we call triple tax advantaged. That means essentially money goes in, and when you contribute, it's tax deductible. So that means that you can write that off. As the money sits in the holding, it grows 100% tax-free. So year over year, you don't have to pay any taxes on that. It grows. And then finally, sometime in the future, you're able to take money out, and those withdrawals, for medical expenses are tax-free. So those are the triple tax advantages that are mentioned there. Now, one of the things, think about the second point there is that as the money grows, it's tax-free. So that means that the longer you let that money sit there, the longer compounding has time to work. And this is where I find that I myself years ago was not thinking this all the way through, and I would assume that other people are doing this today. Most people just kind of spend that money. Typically, let's say you have to go to the doctor, so you get a doctor bill. You have an HSA, you go ahead and grab that HSA card, swipe it, problem solved. That makes sense. That's actually what the account is marketed for. But, and this is, everyone's situation is different. If you do have the ability to pay that bill out of pocket instead of using your HSA, then the money that you have in your HSA is allowed to keep compounding. And over time, this proves to be huge. So basically the strategy is pretty simple. Whenever you're able, pay the out-of-pocket expense using just your standard checking account, or just pay it normally like you normally would. Don't use the HSA. Leave 100% of that in there so that it's compounding. And over time, the compounding should hopefully pay for itself. And the reason why I say that is because just like in general investing, it doesn't matter if it's an HSA, a brokerage account, or an IRA, time is really what does the heavy lifting. So in the beginning, we make a contribution. It doesn't really seem that much. We see some growth in the beginning. We start to see, we do have a base here. And over time, we start to see that accelerate. And before you know it, we're making money without thinking whatsoever. So time is really what allows that to happen. So this is why I say with the HSA, the ability to let that money sit and compound over time really will pay off for you. Now, one thing that you do have to keep in mind, even though you can repay these anytime in the future, the IRS will want some sort of proof. So you definitely want to hang on to those receipts. Take a picture of it, do whatever you need to. Hopefully sometime in the future, all of this stuff will be digitized on the blockchain and easily accessible. But for now, if you're looking at this strategy, just make sure that you have a copy or access to your receipts. I listed the year 2046, but really I'm just talking about a time in the future. Everyone's time scales are different, but the goal is you put the money in, you let it sit, and sometime in the future, you actually pay yourself back for medical expenses that you paid out of pocket at the time. Now, there are some pitfalls when we look at the HSA, and there's 4 that I'm going to call out here. One is spending, so just the immediate use, using it like a checking account. When you have a doctor bill, just going ahead and swiping the card. That does pay the bill, but it also breaks the compounding. So the next point is hoarding, leaving all of that money just sitting in cash. A lot of times people have it and they just let it sit there without really thinking about what else it could actually be doing. And this kind of falls into inertia, just ignoring the options that you do have to utilize for this account. And then finally would be neglect. Let's say you go through the process of doing this, but you don't do the paperwork, you don't keep the receipts. So 5 or 10 years later, you have no idea what you should be reimbursing yourself for. So that's an opportunity lost, and that's something that we definitely want to avoid. And then finally, just to kind of round us off here, and this was just a quick one, I had a thought as I was doing another review, which that'll be coming out a little bit later this weekend, but I just wanted to talk about the HSA because I don't think that they get talked about enough. It's a triple tax advantaged opportunity. And so, yeah, I just think look into it. And it usually just falls into the point of giving every dollar a job. We have our stability, our emergency, our high yield savings account, or wherever we keep that money for an immediate need. Then we have our brokerages, our IRAs, and our HSAs. When used effectively and in conjunction as a team, we really can see some results there. As we see, the HSA has benefits that, to some extent, exceed the IRA. So just make sure that every dollar has a purpose and that you have a plan. That is my spiel on the HSA. I love you. Still don't know you. I wish you luck.